tricky to...
I still feel like I'm coming down a little
Okay,
bit.
so that's okay. I mean, one of the things that my teacher has done with me a lot, which I really love, is this idea that you're sort of sweeping things out, so that it's just really open, right? So, and I think it's important to think about what's happening here in the hips, right? I can see that Dr. Easley has a lot of stuff on here, so I know she's talking about the body a lot, which is great. But I wonder if maybe there's some sound getting cut off from the waist down. Have you talked about that with her?
No, but I can feel it.
Okay, so I think just right now, do a little squat for me. Just get in touch with what it feels like to sort of get those hip joints, just get in touch with them. I mean, almost like you're come on and do this with me, this sort of crazy movement of a little dance. And know that you can feel this happening even when you're playing standing still.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it, but know that there's some openness that can take place here in your pelvic area. All right, good luck. So one more thing to think about. I'm sorry, I shouldn't tell you how beautiful it is. I want to know what you think of it.
Well, just specific to this piece, I know that I'm playing way louder than I want to.
Okay.
But I think I'm kind of doing that to get a feel for
that's good.
Everything going on.
How do you feel about the feel?
It's interesting. I still feel a little bit like my air is restricted. And like lately, some days I can get it to work well, and some days I can't. So I don't know really what to do to address that.
Okay, we can talk about that. Do you feel like how do you feel about the access to the various larger leaps that you have going on in this piece?
I think they're okay.
And how did you feel about what's happening here when you sort of released there a little bit?
That felt better.
Yeah. So it's amazing how much we are holding that we don't even realize that we're holding, right? So that's all good. So the breathing is a big deal, and it's something that we should talk about. So there is one thing that I have found has helped me a lot with breathing, and that is this idea of constructive rest, where you're learning how to become much more aware of noticing space around you and paying attention to breath. And it's actually a pretty powerful tool to get you to learn how to expand here and just appreciate what our bodies should be doing naturally, that I think we forget about when we have all the notes on the page and maybe you're not getting in as much as you could be. So I wonder if it would be okay if we spent a little bit of time on that, because I think it might make a big difference for you, and especially if you spend 5 or 10 minutes a day cultivating this, I think you'll find that it will just sort of seep into your playing the more that you do it. So, okay, so you have to put your flute down one more time. Cool. And I've sort of gone through here, and I don't know how clean her rug is. Would you be willing to lie down on it? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and lie down on that. So the cultivation of an integrated body awareness is understanding what all of your senses are. So we have, we think we have 5 senses, but actually we have 6. The 6th sense is our kinesthetic sense, which is sensing, having our own understanding what's happening around us and knowing, taking in the whole, all of it, not just your smelling, not just it's your emotions too. So we have the tactile sense, and we have the kinesthetic sense, which is muscle and connective tissue concentrating at the joints. They flood our brain with information about our position. And we have our emotional sense, and then we have other things that are going on, like maybe we feel hungry, or we have pain, or we're comfortable, or we're thirsty, or anything. And when we're doing constructive rest, we're trying to come to our greatest degree of muscular freedom. So I think that we want to keep our neck free and not impose tension on the rest of the body. So try to do that and just enjoy that freedom. And notice if there are any other tensions that you can release right now. You also might find that there are patterns of tension that are specific to just you. So as you're lying here, try to release those places where you know you, Thomas, tend to tense up most. So awareness is the key to your release, and intention is the means. So how does your breathing feel right now? Is it limited?
Pretty good.
Good. Okay, so explore the movement into your abdominal wall while you breathe. Now remember, when we talk about your abdominal wall, we don't just mean the top, the front. We mean the sides and the back. It's not just the front. So right now when you inhale, feel all of that expand. Are you allowing the full movement of that abdominal wall all the way around in breathing? Or is somehow tension interfering? And I think that's something that I would wonder for you, Thomas, when you're breathing normally and you play. Do you feel like you're expanding in the front, in the back, in the sides? And then you want to work on your relationship with space and time. So if you have a right relationship to space and time, it turns out to be perfect for many situations in your life, and especially in performing. So do you feel like you have a lot of expansion happening in the sides and in the back in addition to the front, or do you feel like you are limited?
I feel like it's mostly coming up in the front.
Okay, so can you put your hands on your sides and see what you can do to expand there as you breathe? So actually put your legs up. We're supposed to be in supine position, right? That's really where you want to be when you're lying. There are lots of positions for constructive rest. This is one of them. This may not be the best position for you, so we'll try another one. But see if you can feel that expansion. Okay, so now come up and sit up in the chair here. Because this is a good one too, and it's a little bit less, sometimes it's hard to feel that the back and the sides move when you're lying on the floor. That's something that maybe you have to grow into. This is called the dugout pose. And we're just going to calmly breathe. And I want to see if you can feel some expansion happening in the back when you do that. So I'll stop sniffling so we can breathe. So Thomas, if you're willing, put your hand on my back so I can show you what's happening when I breathe. Yeah, exactly, right there. So I'm just going to breathe naturally. So you can feel that happening, right? So try to see if you can get that to happen also. Would it be okay if I just touched your back? Okay. Good, but it's happening very little. So what we want to do is we want to try to figure out how to tap into that more. That's probably why you're feeling limited. So there's another position. There are actually a bunch. You can lie over this ball. This is a great one. I'm so glad she has this. This is great because this one you really can feel it. So if I lean over the ball, you're going to just see my back rise. Watch. I'm going to relax. You try that. See if you can get yourself to have a little more success expanding back there. And in the sides. Again, it's not just one area. This is actually good for you, this one. Go ahead, do it again. So Thomas, can you purposefully right now work hard to get this to expand? Even more, like it's an exaggerated, purposeful, unnatural movement. Go ahead, now come back down and go back up. That's good, very good. Now this time, try to let air go in there naturally while you do that. And breathe out. Really deflate, let it all out, and then come back in. Yeah, so where do you, go ahead and sit up. Where do you feel like you're taking in most of your air when you do that?
I guess here.
So you don't really feel the back, you don't feel like this is expanding with it. So this is huge for you. I think this will make a really big difference. I would do this for just 5 minutes a day. Just lie down in total silence and get yourself to feel the body just expand in every way that you can. And then do it if you have a ball, or this other pose is actually really wonderful too, but you have to sort of have the right length chair. So this is tricky, but you can do it over a chair too, right? And then you can try to get your back to. But now I've been doing it for so long that I don't find it hard to let air in there. So when I'm taking, you can stand up. When I'm taking a breath, it's a pretty, why don't you put your hand here, and then you can put it here and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is my natural. So that expansion happens pretty much with every breath that I take, because I've spent some time really trying to explore how to tap into all of that. I think that would be really useful for you. So try to figure out, go ahead and get your flute and see. So now we've talked about a lot. We've talked about being a little bit looser here in the pelvic area. We've talked about the AO joint. We've talked about point of balance, bringing the flute to you. Now I've talked about seeing if we can get you to expand the breath a little bit more. And see what happens. Make sure you don't go to the flute. Good job. So you'd like to make that breath comfortably.
Yeah.
And that's hard, correct? Okay, so let's try it one more time. And you're hoping to go to here, is that
Yeah.
good? Okay, so put your flute down one more time. I'm sorry on this, but I want to see if I can really help you with this. I'm wondering if there's not something going on here. You know, like I feel like maybe there's you're doing great actually, you really are, but I'm wondering if there's something going on here. So we're gonna try to free up the arms a little bit, okay? So I want you to give me your elbow. Really let me have the weight of it. Good. Good. Really beautiful. So nice and loose, really good. So as I go higher, you're probably gonna wanna start to take it back. But try not to, you're doing a beautiful job. And I'm gonna do this gently, and we're gonna go super high, okay? And I'm gonna have you try to keep it as loose as you can. And we'll both notice if you take it back. I'll know and you'll notice too. Yeah. Could you feel it? Yeah, so go ahead and give it to me again. Yeah, good. Really good. That's beautiful. So try to let me just have it as I go up. You knew it the second it happened, right? So that's pretty telling. We want to try to get this to be loose enough and, free enough that I can go all the way up. I'm going to go back down a little bit. You're really, really, really comfortable here. Can you feel it? Can we try again? Wonderful. Keep going. Wonderful. Now I'm going to let it fall. You just let it fall. Beautiful job. You did a great job. That was great. So if I'm looking at your arms, this one's hanging down a little bit lower. So we're going to even you out. That was wonderful. You could feel the difference? Yeah. Go ahead and give it to me. This is wonderful. And here we go. Great. This is a good sign for you. There. You lost it there, but really beautiful.